To upgrade from Windows 98 to Windows XP on PC emulator, what you would need to do is to Google search and download the Windows XP Home Edition upgrade disk. So I'm going to show you how to get started. Okay, so the first thing you do need is a Windows XP Home Edition upgrade disk. And before you start upgrading, you're on welcome to Microsoft Windows XP. So what you would want to do before you install XP is you want to check your system compatibility automatically to see if it meets the system requirements. It says another copy of this application is already running. And then you check. If you want to get updated setup files, use Dematic. I would definitely want to recommend, yes, download the updated second files, which is recommended. And then since you don't have the internet connection, you want to probably skip the setup step and continue installing Windows. So click Next. And then it's loading the information file. And then it's preparing. And then the Windows XP Upgrade Advisor is building a report for your computer's hardware and software. And it's preparing a list of components. However, if you do want to start Windows XP setup, you will probably need the Intel Pentium 2s. Only the Intel Pentium 2s can handle Windows XP, and you would need the 3DFX Voodoo Free 3000 graphics pre-installed on your Windows 98 emulator or Windows Millennium Edition emulator. And you would need to change the Sound Blaster from Sound Blaster 16 or Sound Blaster AWE32 to Sound Blaster PCI 128. So Windows XP has to examine all the programs, checking if these do support Windows XP, which I don't believe will support because Windows XP, if you're watching DVDs, comes with Windows Media Player DVDs built in already. And DVD player used for Windows 98 will not work for XP. So they do need to examine the programs to know which ones will not have hardware and software issues with the computer before you upgrade from Windows 98 to Windows XP. And then you can always just see what it says, that setup finds software, hardware or software on your computer that might not work with Windows XP. You need to read and fully understand which ones may not work. So the 3DFX Voodoo sound, video and game controllers don't work for XP, and the only problem is that this software, 3DFX Tools, does not support Windows XP. So if we go to Full Details, Setup Find It, so click Finish. And then so now it's done checking. After that, we're going to install Windows XP. And it's collecting all the information. And after that, you want to welcome to the Windows setup. So you want to click Next. I accept the agreement. Next. And then we need to enter in the product key. And after you've entered in the product key, you want to click Yes. Download the updated. So we're definitely going to click on Next. And then it's dynamic setting. Nope. Skip the setup and continue. This is just checking for any updated setup files, which I don't think will work for Windows XP. So I skip the setup, and now it's preparing the installation. So setup will approximately complete in about 63 minutes. Now if you were to wanting to upgrade your Windows 98 to Windows XP on your PC emulator or on 86box, you would need to look for a Windows XP Home Edition upgrade disk that allows you to upgrade from Windows XP from Windows 98 or Windows Millennium Edition to XP, or when you can also upgrade it from Windows 95 as an option. However, you would need to change the 3DFX Voodoo Free 2000 to 3000 if you're upgrading from Windows 95 to XP. But in Windows XP was officially released on October 2001, which was 24 years ago. Very old operating system. But then sadly, after about 12 or 13 years, 11 years ago, Windows XP support had ended on the 8th of April 2014, forcing more users to upgrade to Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 before Windows 10 came out 10 years ago, which was the 29th of July 2015, because it'll be Windows 10's 10th anniversary at the end of July. However, Windows 10 support is coming to the end in October 2025, and then more users will be required to upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11. So if you are still on Windows 10 and your PC doesn't meet the requirements to upgrade to Windows 11, I would recommend you buy yourself a new PC, gaming PC, or a new laptop or gaming laptop, because they all come with Windows 11 pre-installed. And now, it's just analyzing your emulator before the next part of the setup, before it starts installing Windows. So it's just analyzing a lot quicker than expected. Yep. So, after it finishes analyzing your computer, it should start installing Windows XP, which is taking a while. And of course, Windows XP does come with Movie Maker built in. I love using the Movie Maker that Windows XP also comes with. And then Windows Vista also had the Movie Maker included. But then Windows 7 took away the Movie Maker. But you can always get your own Movie Maker. Well, it's not a big deal in PhotoSweep or Movie Makers, or why not? So it's copying installation files, and now it's going to restart the computer. And if you wanted to restart manually, you want to press the escape key, which I don't want to do right now. So it's just preparing the installation. I'm going to wait till the red bar fills up, and then it should restart. So now Setup is inspecting your computer's hardware configuration, and it's starting the Windows setup. Here it is, Microsoft Windows. And now, it's preparing the installation, which is in good progress.
Later.
And now it's just rebooted. So the next thing you will want to do is go to Machine, Configure, Machine, and then you want to go to Sound and set it to Sound Blaster PCI 128. Click OK, and then it should reset the emulator. Because you want to set it to the Sound Blaster PCI 128. And then it should reboot. Updating ESC, which is success, verify and pull data, update success. And then we're going to continue on Windows XP. And here you go, Windows XP Home Edition. This just feels like now that we're upgrading from Windows XP. If you were upgrading back in 2001, Windows XP from Windows 95 or Windows 98 to the latest, you would have probably had to change the machine with the Sound Blaster AWE32 to the Sound Blaster PCI 128 on the actual machine before the sound could work properly. So this should bring back nostalgia. By the time Windows XP is an exciting new look. Everyone back in the 2000s loved Windows XP because Windows XP was a really cool operating system. And the fact is that you had to do a lot of security updates with Windows XP. It came with 3 Service Pack. Service Pack 1 launched in autumn 2002. Then Service Pack 2 in 2004, then Service Pack 3 in 2008, but Service Pack 4 has never been released for the operating system. So it's just going to take time to install Windows. After we install Windows XP, hopefully I would be able to test out the machine. Hopefully these 3DFX Voodoo 3000 is already built in when you install Windows XP on your emulator. So the good thing is that you don't have to install the emulator again. You don't have to reinstall the 3DFX Voodoo 3000 again after you install XP. And now it's just installing devices. So this also brings back, going back to 24 years ago, and this is the October 2001 or November 2001. You're upgrading from Windows 98 to Windows XP. And this is what it would look like back in the days if you were upgrading XP, if you were upgrading from 98 to XP. You know what it would be like if you were upgrading from Windows 98 or Windows 95 back in 2001 on the actual PC that you've bought, that only PCs in the late 1990s that works from the late 1990s that should be compatible with XP and meets the system requirements. This is what it would look like when you installed XP the very first time on the actual Windows 98 PC, if you remember those days. So, taking a while to install devices. Now, if you were installing XP from Windows 98 on your PC emulator, you would also be remembered that the screen may flash a couple of times. But don't worry, that's because it's updating the devices from Windows 98 to XP compatibility. Now it's just installing files, it's deleting files, and then it's just copying files. And now it's completing the installation, and it's installing the start menu items, and now it's just registering components. And there you have it. Now it's just upgrading program and system settings. Microsoft Windows XP marked the first operating system in our family computer that discontinued the old technology named Microsoft DOS, and the first Windows operating system that moved from the Windows 9X operating system to the Windows NT family program, which is used as of present. Still part of the Windows 11, Windows Vista, Windows 7, 8.1, 10, and 11 are part of the Windows NT operating system. So it's just finalizing the installation. And after it finalizes the installation, we should be good and ready to go. And now it's saving settings, and then it should finish the installation. And it's just removing any temporary files. This took around 5 minutes. This took 10 minutes to save all the files, so it's just removing any temporary files used before it finishes installing. And there you go now. So now the computer is just restarting. And the Windows XP setup should be finished in no time at all. Now this is I am using Windows XP Home Edition released to manufacturer that it used to be looked like when you first bought Windows XP back in 2001. This is what it would look like when you first installed XP on your new computer, or if you've upgraded on existing computers that are compatible for XP. You can also upgrade service packs from Service Pack 1 up to Service Pack 3 as an option. But I'm going to stick with RTM. And it now just says please wait, and then you would get the installation music after you install Windows XP. Welcome to Microsoft Windows XP. Thank you for purchasing Microsoft Windows XP. Let's spend a few minutes setting up your computer. But of course, some people back in the early 2000s after Windows XP still used Windows 95 or Windows 98, as not everyone back in those days could afford Windows XP or a new computer that came with XP. So click next. And then you want to get your name. I'm going to call it PCem. I'm going to say PC Emulator Tutorial. Click next. Thank you. And that's it. You're all ready to go. So click finish. And there you go. Microsoft Windows XP has now been installed on your PC emulator at last. So now for the next option, I would want to show you the next step is to install DirectX 9 on Windows XP. Now, Windows XP does come with Vista with DirectX 8 already pre-installed. And you still get the Windows 98 or Windows 95 background after you install XP, but it should change to the Windows XP background. So what you'll want to do is right click on the desktop, go to properties, and then you want to turn it to, it's not Windows 98 you're using, so it's XP. Click apply, and then it says please wait, and there you go. Now you've got Windows XP all installed now. So after this, we're going to click run. And then we're going to go and type DXDIAG. And there you have it. Windows X, it's got DirectX 8.01 installed. Go to display. And you've got the 3dFX acceleration graphics pre-installed. Now I'm going to show you how I installed DirectX 9. So first thing I want to do is click on the volume, adjust it up a bit to the higher sign. And there you go. Now, next thing you want to do is to go to computer. Oh, it says you will probably want to activate Windows XP after installing. What you want to do is to activate through a telephone to activate Windows. And then you want to generate new installation ID. But I'm not going to activate Windows XP. And then you want to select the location depending on where you live in. And then ring the phone number. And then you want to follow the steps by entering in the product key. And then click next. And then Windows XP should be activated. But I'm not going to do this now. So after that, you want to go there. Click on DirectX. Go to DirectX Setup. I accept the agreement. Click next. And then it's initializing. And then hopefully DirectX should be installing on the PC emulator. Like I did on the Windows 98 86 box in the previous tutorial video. So it's just copying files now, which is going to take a while for DirectX 9.0C to be installed. Now you want to restart the computer, and then after this, DirectX 9.0C should be installed.
A few moments later.
Just took a while to install, boot up Windows XP. So there you go. Now you should have DirectX 9 installed. And now hopefully the game should all work perfectly. Now not all DirectX 9 games are going to work properly because you need new video card that is compatible with DirectX 9, and PC Emulator has not released the new version yet. So I do recommend that you wait until a new version of PC Emulator releases the new graphics cards from the early 2000s before considering doing DirectX 9.0C games on Windows XP on your PC Emulator or 86 box. So I hope you enjoyed this full tutorial on how I upgrade from Windows 98 to Windows XP. So if you have any questions, please leave your comments below and like your videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. See you again for more future tutorials. Bye! Oh yes, and don't forget as well to rename, configure, click on this name and rename it Windows XP Home Edition. And that should give it the name Windows XP. And then you should replace it from Windows 98 name to Windows XP name. Bye!